and our business has grown. And things have changed, right? A lot has changed. In our world today, a lot of things have changed. In fact, things are changing so fast sometimes that it can be scary. We are the most connected generation of all. Are you with me? We are the most connected generation of all. Everyone has Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so forth and so on. But the change sometimes also brings things that are not necessarily good. However, the good part of this change is that along with the growth of information and everything, people have also learned how to collaborate more. I came across this article recently, and it was about an article that was published, okay? And it was an article that was published recently, I think in 2015, and it was a research paper that credited 5,154 authors. Authors, writers, researchers. This 33-page article, this 33-page research paper, all right, had 5,154 authors. Now, think about that for a moment. It used to be that prizes and accolades and credits were given to individuals, right? The Nobel Prize, for example, more often than not in the past went to individuals. But things have changed to the point where, as early as 2015, the winners of the Nobel Prize in the categories of physics and medicine and whatever were not individuals, but teams. In fact, this research paper was a result, this was an award-winning, a Nobel Prize-winning research. Are you there? This won the Nobel Prize. Don't ask me what it's about, all right? I didn't go that far. I just know that they discovered this particle that's now called the Higgs boson particle. And from winning the Nobel Prize in 2012, it took them another 3 years of research, extensive research, not by one person, not by 2 people, not by 10 people, but by 5,154 people working day in, day out to research one thing. Just one thing. And to their credit, that 33-page research paper named all of them. So guess what? 24 pages of that research paper were all names, right? 24 pages of the entire research paper were just listing all of their names and giving them credit for the work that they've done. But this is an evidence of a change that's really happening nowadays. More and more, we're seeing people collaborate. More and more, we're seeing people go beyond, titles, go beyond, borders, go beyond whatever norms that were accepted and really breaking through those barriers to collaborate. And this paper says that if they did not collaborate, if they did not have that many people collaborating, they would not have figured that, the weight of that particle out. They needed the 5,124 people working together, collaborating to be able to get the job done. Now, in our business, this is not new. Are you with me? It's not new, right? The word collaboration, that's not new. But the world out there, that's new. Correct? In the world out there, you rise by pulling people down. Right? In the world out there, you lift yourself up by stepping on other people. In the world out there, you do whatever it takes to get to the top. Forget what, the bodies that get left behind. But in our business, that's not true, isn't it? In fact, the industrialists, our new Andrew Carnegie, way back 100 years ago, said that he would rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts rather than getting 100% from one person's effort. That was 100 years ago. So collaboration's not new. Our business functions and operates purely on this principle of collaboration, of the leveraging of a greater number of people, of being able to harness the power of numbers. That's what our business is all about. In fact, the reason why I even dared to do this business in the first place was simply because I liked the idea that I could do more, not by building myself up more, but by building more people up. I like that idea. What Dato Sri Vijay said on our first night, that you succeed by helping others succeed. That was really what I bought into when I signed up. Now, I had no idea how to do this. I had no idea what to do. I had no idea whether I could succeed. All I had when I started out was really a hope. It was a simple hope. A hope that things would get better. I didn't know how. I didn't know, when. I didn't know what it was going to take. I didn't know where to begin. I just had that hope. I refused to give in to my circumstances at that time, and instead chose to hope. Hope is free, right? Hope is free, and it's not determined by our circumstances. Now, looking back now, I would say really that I was in a very hopeless situation. I was a very young single mother. I had my children at that time were very small. This was 1993, before QNet, right? So that would have made me 27 years old. Do we have any 27-year-olds here? Any 20-something? Where are 20-something here? Great. Great. So I dared to believe in myself, and I dared to believe in this concept that you succeed by helping others succeed first when I was 27. It was a crazy decision. It was a mad decision. It was illogical. It was unreasonable. Everyone was telling me, Donna, you're stupid. You have 3 kids, no way to feed them, no money. You have no college degree. You have no work background. You know nothing. And yet you're not telling me that you're going to be in business for yourself. Right? Everyone was telling me to get a job. Everyone was telling me to get a job. My problem with the job was because I didn't have a degree. I didn't have a title. I wasn't an accountant. I wasn't an engineer. I was a mom. That's what I was. I was a mother. And at 27, with no money, with no home, living in other people's homes, and living out of the generosity of other people, not just for myself, but for my 3 small children, not knowing where I was going to get money to support them, at 27, I still believed I could be a great mother. And I wanted to be a great mother. My dream at that time was very simple, really. I mean, I really honor all of our V ambassadors. I honor you guys because I know it took a lot for you to come here today, and you must have big dreams for you to pay the price to come here today. All right? But my dream was really very simple. I just wanted to have the freedom to stay home and raise my children myself. I wanted to be the one to wake them up in the morning. I wanted my face to be the first thing they saw when they woke up. I wanted to be the one to prepare their breakfast. I wanted to be the one to send them to school, pick them up from school. I wanted to be the one to tuck them in at bed at night. But I knew that was a huge dream. It's simple, but it's actually huge. Because most women don't have the luxury of being able to do that. Correct? One of the changes of the 21st century is that the single income household has become almost non-existent and has been replaced by a double income household, or sometimes even a triple income household with one working 2 jobs to try to make ends meet. So I knew that that was a simple dream, but it was also a huge dream. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know, what kind of vehicle there was. I just knew what I wanted. And I knew I wanted it so bad. I wanted it so bad that I was willing to do anything and everything to make that dream happen. And so here came a friend of mine. Actually, he wasn't a friend of mine. He was a nephew of my ex-husband. I met him at a wedding, and he invited me. All right? I met him at my wedding, and he invited me to a presentation. And in that presentation, that's where I met Japa. Japa was doing the presentation. All right? And somebody said something the first night about how Japa has been so consistent through the years, right? I can attest to that. Not just because he's been bald consistently over the years, but the person that he is, consistently the same from day one I met him. And I have also been a recipient of the lunches at his home, because my upline would bring me to Japa's home, and I would get a free lunch also, courtesy of Japa. And so I agree with VJ that Japa cooks very well, and he still does till today. So that's how I first got started. I didn't know what to do, but I had a dream, and I knew what I wanted. Now, very simple enough to get started. All I needed to do was say what? All I needed to do was say what? I just had to say yes. And yes, I said. Now, when I was told that for me to do the business, I needed to talk to people and I needed to do all sorts of other things, that's when I started to question whether this was the business for me or not. And that's because I didn't really know anyone. I had come from my hometown and uprooted my children and myself into another city to, be as far away as possible from my ex-husband. And so I didn't know anyone, let alone didn't know how to begin. So here's what happened, right? I said yes, and I was told to make a list of people to talk to, and I had a list of 10. I knew I was supposed to make a list of 150 names, but I could only come up with 10 names. Very pathetic, very sad, and maybe if you were my upline, you won't talk to me anymore if I came to you with only 10. Yeah? How many of you would still talk to me even if I came to you with 10? You would? Oh, thank you. Would you help me? Still? 10. Out of the 10 people said no to me. So what happened to my list? 0. And I could have been the 11th person to say no. However, like I said, I had a simple dream. And it was a very powerful dream. And because of that dream, I was willing to do anything. So I realized my mistake. I opened my mouth and thought just by drawing circles, people would listen to me. I thought just by memorizing what my upline said, that I would be able to get people to say yes to me. How many of you thought that way before too? Right? So I started opening my mouth. When in fact, what I should have done was I should have first opened my heart. I then learned something very important about our business. And it's something that remains true today, 21 years after. And that's this. Our business is one of the most difficult businesses that you can ever do. I find it very hard to find any other business that is more challenging and more difficult than ours. If no one's ever told you that before, guess what? You're hearing it now. All right? Don't get mad at your upline for not telling you this. Are you with me? My upline didn't tell me this also. I had to find out by myself. It's one of the most difficult businesses in the world. It's one of the easiest to misunderstand. It's one of the easiest to abuse. It's one of the easiest to start. True? I mean, who cannot draw circles? Everyone can draw circles. You want to be creative? Draw squares. Right? Who cannot do that? But it's so easy to misunderstand because we think that just by drawing circles we can succeed, when in fact, it's one of the most challenging, because at the heart of your success in this business is one thing. There is one thing we all need, and it's the one thing that's also most difficult to have, and that is good relationships. I thank Niraj and Shipra for being so authentic on stage today. I thank them for opening up their heart and not just talking about their success, but really openly talking about the challenge on their relationship. Because that is a fact. The biggest challenge in our business is relationship, whether it's relationship in the business or relationship with their family or both. I thank Tri Hartono for being so open about his acknowledgement and gratitude for his brothers, for his wife, for his mother, that without them he could not have achieved the success he has, because that is a fact. It is the relationships we have that affect our business. If we want to have a good, successful business, a strong business, then we must start by building good, strong, successful relationships. And that's where we fail the most. I know that yesterday we heard so much about dreaming and how really nothing is impossible for us. And that's true. If Tri Hartono, who used to sell meatballs, pushing a trolley in the streets, is now on the VCon stage, it's true. Anything is possible. Correct? Correct? And what he said is true, that if you just fight for your dreams and all of that, yes, you can succeed. Alone, there is much that all of us can do. One of the things also that this time and age has given us is because there's greater information available, because there's greater access to great information available, that more and more of us are really able to push the boundaries. More and more of us are able to do better. More and more of us are able to do more than what our parents could have done before. Yes? Yes? However, it still remains that no matter how much information is out there, it still remains, no matter how big data goes, no matter how great technology becomes, and no matter how one day your phone will govern your lives, and if it's not governing your life today, is that it's still ultimately all about relationships. And so for the next 30 minutes or so, I want to talk about that. Because that's what I struggled with the most. And I learned a few things along the way. and that I'd like to share with you in overcoming my challenge when it came to building good relationships. It's easy to start the relationship, yeah? All you need to do is smile, say hi, ask a few questions, right? And you get started. But in our business, it's not all about bringing people in, right? It's not about how many people you bring in. It's about how many people stay with you. It's about how many people, go with you through the entireness of the journey. It's about how many people, of the 100 people that started with you at the beginning, how many of them will be with you on year 5? How many of them will be with you on year 10? How many of them are going to be with you on year 15 and year 20? That is the challenge. And that is what's going to cause you to really succeed. What did I learn? Firstly, I learned that to build relationships, I first needed to let people get to know me, like me, trust me. Sounds simple enough. But my challenge was I was very, very, very shy. I refused to talk to people because I didn't want people to say no to me. I was very insecure. I was very unsure of myself. I didn't even, know if people like me. So instead of daring to talk to people and then having them say no to me, I decided the safe way was to just not open my mouth. Not good for networking. Are you there? Not good at all. So I had to dare to open my mouth and start to get people to actually know me. But I'm glad for mentors because my mentors taught me that it's not about faking it until you make it, but it's about faith it until you make it. So my mentor told me, be real, be you, be authentic, just be yourself, right? Some people will like you, that's okay. Some people won't like you, that's also okay. Right? Some will, some won't. I first heard that 23 years ago. The fact that you're still saying it today means it's true, right? All right. So I started daring to get people to know me. Then the second part, which was the harder one. It's easy for people to get to know me, right? I'll say, hi, I'm Donna. I've got 3 kids. No dogs because I hate dogs. By the way, that's one of the things that changed with me. I used to hate dogs. And now I have 3. How do I get people to like me? Right? Now, like is not the same as a Facebook like. You post your lunch on Facebook and people like that. That's not like. That's not real like. Are you with me? Yes. Are you with me? Yes. How do you get people to like you? Right? Again, getting people to like you at the beginning is easy. But getting people to like you for who you are, that's really what it is. That's really what it is. To like you for who you are. That was my challenge. I had to learn this. I had to learn people's skills. I had to learn how to speak with people. I had to learn how to just open up my heart. I had to learn how to communicate. And I had to learn how to really show my heart to people. And then getting them to trust me. How do you get people to trust you? How do you get people to trust you? Be honest. What else? Be yourself. Again, be yourself. You get people to trust you. Can I give you a quick tip? A fast tip? Yeah? You know the fastest way for people to trust you? Solve a problem for them. Really? Find a problem to solve. And solve that for them. Your neighbor needs a doctor because her son is sick. Solve that problem for your neighbor. Will your neighbor be grateful to you? Yes or no? Yes or no? Solve a problem for them. Your neighbor, your friend needs a babysitter. Can you help your friend with a babysitter? Yes or no? It's going to take a little bit of your time. But if you solve that problem for your friend, will your friend know you, like you, trust you? Yes or no? Yes. So the way to really get people to know you, like you, trust you, what I've learned is really to stop thinking about yourself. Take yourself out of the equation, right? And just really find an opportunity to help. Find an opportunity. Look for opportunities to just be a blessing, to help, and just solve someone's problem. And the more problems you solve for people, the more that they'll know you, like you, and trust you. This is a relationship business, guys. I know it's called other things nowadays, but at the end of it all, it is a relationship business. It's not a business of relationships. This is not a business relationship, okay? Because a business relationship is, I enter into business with you and we start building a relationship because of the business, correct? That's not how it is here. Here, I first build a relationship with you. And if I build my relationship with you strong enough, then we can succeed in doing business together. Big difference. So the challenge is that most of us come from dysfunctional families in one way or another, which means that most of us carry with us relational baggage in one way or another. And this baggage, unfortunately, we bring up and we bring with us, and it comes out when we start doing the business. So, today, I want us to really look long and hard at how we're building relationships. And when I'm asking you this question, I'm asking me this question. I'm still not good in building relationships. I still don't have many friends. In fact, I have stopped Facebook altogether because it just gives this false sense of, friendship when you don't really have friends. Are you with me? So I'm still learning this, and I'm still getting good at this, and I still have a lot that I'm failing in. But one thing I know now that I didn't know 20 years ago, as long as I keep being myself, and as long as my heart is real, and my heart is pure, and I'm sincere, and I'm being genuine, and I'm being authentic, there will be those who will want to have a relationship with me, and they're the ones that will matter the most. Are you there? So, let me just quickly go through some of these challenges that you will have when it comes to relationships. Of course, we all know that relationships per se require trust, it requires love, it requires respect. In our business, there are things that will magnify the absence of those that will create problems for you. Firstly is when it comes to how you start that relationship in the first place. How did you present the business? What kind of presentation did you give? What kind of expectations did you give to your prospect? If your goal is to build a relationship, and if your goal is to maintain a relationship with your prospect, would you do things differently in your presentation? As opposed to if your goal is to get a sign-up. If your goal is to have a long-term relationship that will far outweigh the business, that will far outlive the business, what would you do differently today in your presentation? When I was building, I actually told my prospects that our business is hard. You know what I'm telling you now? I tell them that. This business is difficult. You will face disappointments. You will get discouraged. People will say no to you. People will misunderstand you. This is going to take work, and it's going to take hard work. It's not overnight. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is, going to be a lifetime thing. I say that, and I tell them, are you ready to do this with me? Because if you're not, let's just remain friends. Because I value our friendship more than having you join me in the business. Now, of course, I can confidently say that because I know our business, because I know the system, because I know that ours is a great business, because I know that QNet is here to stay. And so I can confidently tell that person, yes, it's going to be hard, but if you do it and do it well and do it right, you'll succeed. I know that because I've seen it. Are you there? Are you there? So more often than not, I have found that when I present the business and set the right expectations that yes, our relationship matters first and foremost. And two, if we are going into business, this is a business. I'm not here to slave for you and do the work for you. You are going to have to do this yourself, and you are going to succeed not because of me, but because of you. If I set the right expectations, more often than not, a prospect who is really wanting to make a change in their life will say yes and will have more confidence and will like you more and know you more and trust you more because you were upfront with them. How do you present? How do you build with them? When they don't show up, when, they call you in the middle of the night. You know what? One other relational issue I see is the lack of boundaries. I see this a lot. I see uplines who are tired, who are harassed, who are stressed because they did not know how to set their boundaries with their team. What do I mean? Call me anytime. Beautiful words to say to your downline, right? I'm here for you. Anytime, just call me. I'll be there for you. Beautiful. Then they start calling you at 12 midnight, at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Then they start asking you to present for them at 7 a.m. the following day because you said, call you anytime. Correct? Correct? Anytime means anytime. No boundaries. When you don't have boundaries, people will abuse you even if they don't want to abuse you. Because you lend yourself to being abused. And then you blame your downlines for what? Abusing you. Not valuing your time. Not being grateful for your time. But did you give value to your time? Did you give value to the relationship enough that you drew your boundaries and said, you know what? This is me. And I'm going to help you this way, this way, this way. And I'm going to give you this time and this time and this time. And this is why I'm going to do it, because I want you to earn your first check by this time. When you set clear boundaries and when you set clear expectations, do you think that's going to be good for the relationship rather than call me anytime and you're not there every time? What do you think? What do you think? What's good for your relationship? Think relationships, because the strength of your relationships is what's going to determine the strength of your business. Yes, alone you can succeed for a while. But ours is such that you need the relationship to build the business, and you will need the relationships even more to sustain the business. And at a certain point, if you do it well and right, you set your boundaries, you set the right expectations with your team, you don't lend yourself to being abused. when you start valuing those relationships more than the check, I have had to say no to sign-ups. Now remember, I was a struggling single mother. I had no money. But I have had to say no to sign-ups that would have been quick and that would have given me a check, but it would have ruined the relationship. I'm talking about people coming up to me saying, Donna, you know, actually my brother told me about, or my neighbor told me about this business, but I want to work with you. Can I just work with you? Anyway, it's a free country. What do? It's a free country, right? But I value relationships so much that I also put importance on their relationships. I know for a fact that if that person does that to her neighbor, right? That person will also do that to me one day. Are you with me? If that person sees relationships as expendable, then one day that person will see her relationship with me as expendable. And that's not something I want to invest my time in. Are you there? So when we say that this is a relationship business, how much do we value those relationships? And what are we willing to do to build those relationships? As you're building, as you're growing, as the excitement is there, it's easy to think you have great relationships. But wait till the challenges come. Wait till the challenges come. Then the state of your relationships get exposed. And to me, when people leave, I say, it's all right. Please, you have my blessing. Are you with me? Because I know not everyone is meant to stay. This business is meant for everyone. Anyone and everyone can do this. But not everyone will. And that's okay. Some people will stay for a season, and that's also okay. However, what is not okay is if we force people to stay. What is not okay is if we coerce people to stay. What is not okay is if we, do anything and everything to just get people to stay, even at the expense of being untruthful. That's not okay. That's not okay. What is okay is loving your people where they're at. If they're not ready to do the business, love them where they're at. If they're only willing to do so much in the business, love them where they're at. If they would like to take some time off because of family matters, love them where they're at. Why? Because as you show love, what will you get back? And that love will one day translate into that person remembering what you did. And when the need comes, as we all get that need, right? When the need arises once again, who do you think will that person remember? Who will that person call? You would want to be the person that they would call a year after, 2 years after. Are you there? Anyway, you're showing the plan every day. There's so many people to show the plan to. So let's not be have this mentality of trying to force people in, keeping people in at whatever the cost. Instead, love them where they're at, and when they're ready, they'll come back and want you to be their partner because they have known you, they like what they see, and they trust you even more because of what you've shown them. I have had the good fortune, really. I can only thank God for where I am today. There's so many people here, and so many of you here, who are most likely much better than I am. As a person, as a networker, and both. But I'm here. And I have learned how to accept that and appreciate that and know that God in His mercy and grace blessed me because He wanted to use me, right? So I'm perfectly fine with that. And I'm perfectly happy that I belong to a team of people that are amazing, that are great, that are really world class. A lot of you don't really know because this is the only world you know. But as I travel around and as I interact with other great networkers from other companies, I always come home to the V with an even more grateful heart. But the relationships that we have in the V are not perfect. They're far from perfect. So far from perfect. Just like your relationships are far from perfect. They're just like anyone, in any place, in any family, where there are issues and there are challenges. But here's one thing that has kept us together. Somebody asked me the other day, what has kept you guys together? All of the egos and everything. What has kept you guys together? It's one thing, and it's what VJ said the first night. It's our hearts. For all of the egos and all of the differences and all of the imperfections that we all have in the V, God has brought us all together because of that heart of Datu Sri VJ and Japa. The heart to raise people up, to help mankind. And that's what has kept us together all throughout these years. And I have had so many times where because of the relationships, because the relationships will test you, because the relationships will push you, because the relationships will disappoint you, because the relationships will hurt you, so many times I have wanted to leave. So many times. In the course of your business, because it's all about relationship, there will be times where you will want to leave. There will be times where you will think, I can't take it anymore. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my aggravation, and so forth and so on. I want you to know, the only time a relationship fails is when you give up. But as long as you don't give up on the relationship, the relationship will stay. It might not grow during that season, but it will stay as long as you stay. Swarna mentioned that earlier about me just showing up. And every time I want to give up, I just tell myself, just show up. No matter how hurt I may feel, no matter how disappointed I may feel, or no matter how hurt others may feel towards me, I show up. And I just keep showing up. And VJ, one of the things that VJ taught me about relationships that has really helped me in my relationship with him. Now, do we all love Datu Sri VJ? I mean, I love him. I love him like crazy. However, he's also not the easiest person to relate with. He's one of the toughest people to relate with. He's one of the most challenging people to relate with because he confronts you with truth. Are you there? He does not allow you to fall into excuses or mediocrity, but because he sees good in people, he also draws that good out. And sometimes there's pain involved in drawing that goodness out, but he still does that anyway. VJ does not know how to give up on people. He does not know how to see the bad in people. And that's me included. And so the only reason why I'm able to stand on stage today is because he has taught me more than anyone else, how this relationship business works. And you must count yourself blessed by the God on high that you have been brought to a business headed by a man, by a person who values people and relationships the way he does. And because he has taught me how to nurture and how to build relationships, by the time I got married 4 years ago, I had been trained. And I had been taught and I had been mentored on building relationships enough that today I am so proud that 4 years into my marriage, I am the happiest in the world. And it's, better than ever. We celebrated our 4th anniversary, my husband and I, 2 weeks ago. And it's been better than ever. Why? Because this business has taught me how to be a friend. This business has taught me how to be real. This business has taught me how to not give up and how to just grow instead of going. How to just face things instead of fighting or instead of fleeing. How to just keep moving forward and keep fighting and working. Because guess what? Any relationship takes work. So in my last minutes here, I just wanted to honor my husband because, when I turned 40, I was actually with the V Kids yesterday, and they were amazing. They were showing me their dream boards. And I was like, can I just thank the parents here who invest so much in their kids enough to bring them here to VCon? I just really want to honor you and to thank you, parents, for believing in the next generation enough. I mean, come on. I did my dream board at 33. I was 33 years old when I did my dream board. Before that, I was telling the kids, I was nothing. I had nothing. I was in the business already for a year. I was failing miserably in the business. 1 year in the business. And I had thousands on one side and 4 on the other side. And the plan at that time was 5 on the left and 5 on the right. So which meant no check. No check after 1 year of showing the plan. 1 year of just having people, having my downlines, showing the plan and showing me their checks. 1 year of getting people to coming to me and saying, oh, you're Donna, you're the upline of Ferdy. You must be earning so much more than Ferdy. And Ferdy was making what? $3,000 a week, $4,000 a week. And me, 0 check. 1 year of that, right? 1 year of that. 1 year of just thinking maybe it's not going to work for me. 1 year of thinking maybe I don't have what it takes. 1 year of just basically one day saying, I quit. Because it wasn't working for me. And then I did my dream board. A year after I did my dream board, I maxed out. That was the year 2000. For the very first time, I maxed out. And since that week that I maxed out, every week it's been maxing out. My relationships at that time were such that my downline, my biggest leader, and other leaders of mine, the biggest leaders in my team, left the business. And they wanted me to leave because there were some relational issues that they didn't want to resolve. And I had the same issues relationally that caused me to empathize with them and understand where they were coming from. But what I did not understand and what I did not agree with was their decision to leave. And I'm so glad for the grace of God to give me the wisdom to stay, to fight it out, to just stick it out, even when it was tough, and even when it was painful, and even when it was uncomfortable. Because I would not be here today, obviously, if I left at that time. And those people that left, I wish them well. They were my very good friends. And although I don't see them anymore and I don't talk to them anymore, I remain grateful to them for everything that they are and everything that they've done. But here's the thing, guys, and I'd like to leave you with this. There will be that moment when you will want to leave, where it will just get so painful, and others will start talking, and things will start looking better somewhere else. Are you there? There will be that moment where you will get so tempted by another opportunity, or you will be so tempted because you're thinking, you know what, I'm not getting this from my upline, maybe I should just look somewhere else, and you start looking somewhere else, not thinking that the imperfection that your upline has is the same imperfection someone else has. Are you there? Yes. So, you're looking for a perfect upline, or you're looking for a perfect relationships, and there's none. So, look at the relationships that you have today, here, now, in all of its imperfections, and ask yourself, what can I do to make this better? Because even if you leave, you will have to build relationships again. And you're just going to have to start from scratch. But if you leave and not learn the lesson here, you're not going to learn the lesson there. Are you with me? So, my last thing for you tonight, as I talk to you, having been here since day one, with Dato Sri Vijay, with Japa, and with TG, is this. Stay. No matter what happens, stay. Face the relationship. Build the relationship. Guard the relationship. Are you with me? And if need be, sometimes you will have to have that relationship from afar, and that's okay also, isn't it? Sometimes it's okay to love somebody from afar for a particular time and place, and that's also okay. But just never, ever, ever give up on people. I cannot be here today if VJ gave up on me. I gave him a lot of reasons to give up on me. I was stubborn. I was proud. I was not very likable. Are you there? I thought I knew more. Okay, I had the big head. I had a big ego. Are you there? But he did not give up on me. And that's why I can even stand before you today, 20 years after. So yes, this business has blessed me and my family amazingly. Nothing like having a business that allows you to do whatever you want. Today, I don't need to be here. In fact, the only reason why I'm even here in this VCon is because, number one, I'm here for myself. I'm here because I want to keep growing. I'm here because I want to keep learning. I'm here because I want to keep stretching myself. But I'm also here because I want to keep acknowledging the people who have helped me. My family, the relationships here are so important to me, and that's why I'm here to show gratitude for those relationships that I have had this past 20 years. Can I ask you one thing? Do you see yourself maxing out one day in this business? What are you willing to do to max out in this business? Now, do you recognize the value and the importance of relationships in your goal to max out? What are you willing to do for those relationships? Some of you here, you've been hurt. You've been disappointed. Maybe by a broken promise, maybe by people who said things that you didn't like, whatever the reason. for, expectations that were not met. Some of you here have relationships back home that you may have sacrificed too much in pursuit of your dream of maxing out. And that's easy. Trust me, I've done that. I told my children I was doing this business for them. And then it got to the point that they were being sacrificed too much for this business. And they were asking me, Mom, I thought you were doing this for us. Are you there? I have had to make course corrections. And I have had to undo some of the damages that I had, my pursuit of the business have inflicted on my children. And I thank God that there is opportunity still today, till today, to do that. However, some of you are there. And sometimes it's really the way to save a relationship. Sometimes it's really as simple as saying, I'm sorry, right? Hello? I know you're awfully quiet now. I really feel that if you really want to max out, there's no way that you can max out by having relationships that are 100% okay all the time. There's no such thing. The reason why it's a difficult business is because those relationships are going to go through ups and downs. There will be hurt, there will be pain. You're bound to get hurt and you're bound to hurt others. But VJ taught me that these relational issues or pain or hurt that we feel or disappointments we feel are like, what causes you to recognize how much strong a rubber band is. So he says a relationship is like a rubber band, right? And when you have challenges in the relationship, it gets stretched, correct? Okay? And it's good to know how strong a relationship is. And the only way to know how strong a relationship is when it does get stretched. The only way for us to grow in our relationships is when it does get stretched. So can I teach you how to apologize? Can I teach you how to apologize? 4 steps. Okay? Number 1, you say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. 4 words, right? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I was wrong. I didn't mean to hurt you. How can I make it up? I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I was wrong. I didn't mean to hurt you. How can I make it up? No excuses. No explanations. No nothing. Just those things. If they say, I forgive you, great. If they say, I don't forgive you, or they don't give you the time of the day, it's still okay. You did your part. Are you there? Now, some of you need to say that to some people here today. Or you need to say that to some people back home. Do me a favor. You want to max out, right? Restore the relationship. Because at the end of the day, the checks will come. Max out will come. But who are you going to spend that with? Who are you going to celebrate it with? Who are you going to rejoice with? Who is going to be beside you when that day comes? Hopefully, and I hope, it's the same people who started with you in this journey. The same people who believed in you when no one else did. The same people who stuck with you when no one else wanted to. The same people who believed in you. My last 2 minutes, I'd like to echo something that Dato Sri Vijay said. And this has to do with women being the heart of our business. one of the reasons why I keep showing up, even when I don't need to show up anymore, is because I believe the day will come that the heart of our women in our business will get bigger, and that their relationships will get better, and that they will become stronger, and that they will become bigger. But I also know for a fact that women alone cannot succeed in this business, because just like anyone alone cannot, women alone can't. We all need each other. In fact, women have great strengths, as VJ said. We have the heart, right? We're the heart. But men have the strength too, and the men are the brain, right? We can succeed better in our business if we do this together. If we, as Niraj said earlier, how they've worked out the issues in the relationship was that they recognized each other's strengths, appreciated the differences, and then learned how to put those together so that they can be better together. How many of you here want to build the business better? How many of you want to build the business stronger? How many of you want to build the business higher? You want to go higher. You want to go, farther. Who here want that so bad that you're willing to do anything and everything to do better, to be better, to go stronger, to grow higher, to do whatever it takes? Guys, together we can. Together we can. Together we can be better. Together we can be stronger. Together we can grow higher. Together, not alone, not individually. The same way that those 5,154 scientists chose the bigger good over their personal fame and glory, the same way that those people there, those scientists, chose to work together and chose to pull their strengths together and work together to accomplish something that was never accomplished before. If we do the same thing, there's 16,000 people in this room today. If we do the same thing and we choose to come together really as one, if we choose to value our relationships, and if we choose to forgive each other, if we choose to believe in the best of each other, if we choose to be grateful for each other, if we choose to be accepting of the differences, if we choose to see that those differences are going to make us better, if we choose to be together, we can do what Dr. Sri Vijay said. We can accomplish that one purpose. We can accomplish that one purpose that has never been done before, which is to touch 1 billion. To touch 1 billion. We can be better. We can be stronger. We can be louder. We can go higher. We can go bigger and everything that we want.